all these beautiful exhibits at the Bankhead House. Every time I see one, I keep thinking, you can't outdo this one. But the person responsible, I think, for putting these all together is Pat Morrison.
Well, Margaret, I tell you, I guess this cap gun collection here would have to be my favorite. I was a little immature growing up, and so when I was a junior in high school, I got cap guns for Christmas. So I've had about every cap gun that's in this thing here, and you've got Hopalong Cassidy, you got Roy Rogers, you got Lone Ranger. Even have for the girls, you've got the little paper doll booklet that you could take Roy and Dale and cut them out and put their different clothes on, the Roy Rogers book. But the guy who did this collection is Terry Drummond, who lives over in Bug Tussle, and it took him about 20 years to actually get this collection together here. So it's quite a great. I even have a yo-yo from Roy Rogers in here.
Oh, that's cute.
The whole thing. So this is, I guess, if I have a favorite, it's kind of like your kids. Every time you see one, that's your favorite, you know. But this is a very unique collection, right? Pedal car, and the guy who bought this, Terry Drummond, actually it was totally rusted out when he got it. He did a paint job on it. The steering wheel is actually a wheel off of another Edsel pedal car. On the back here is an actual, off of a real Edsel car, is the actual little symbol that tells what the model of that car was. So he has done a really nice job of redoing this. And you see the Edsel. And for anybody that doesn't know what an Edsel is, it was only produced for about 3 years. And once the third year, they discontinued it, and it makes it a very, very rare car today.
Amelia Trowbridge, I'm talking to here, has a doll in here. And what's the name of that one, Amelia?
Mary Hartline. And she was from the Super Circus that was filmed in Chicago in the 50s. And I loved watching the show on TV because my aunt had just moved to Chicago, and I was hoping to go visit her and see Mary Hartline. You can still go online and pull up some of her old commercials. She did commercials for Canada Dry Ginger Ale.
I have just found Jack Allen here, and I wanted to point out our son's little toy truck, a Texaco truck. This is Larry's father in the 1960s. He worked part-time at a service station. He worked at a steel mill, but part-time he worked at a service station. And, of course, our son loved, as a little one, he loved going in there. And they had this truck. It was a Texaco merchandise item. And so, of course, his grandfather bought it for him. And he absolutely loved it. And it's one of the things that we just treasure and kept it all these years.
Who's kept it? Have y'all kept it? Or have your son? Yeah, that's what's amazing over all this stuff here. That people would keep these toys, and you look back and say, oh, I wish I'd have kept it. And they're in good condition, just like this Texaco truck. That's good condition.
Well, it is to be like 48 years old, I think.
You know, some of these rocking horses they got in here, they've kept all that time period. And Joe McClooney's old tricycle, which has been about 40 or 50 years, outside for a lot of them. But it's still, they don't build toys like that anymore. They wouldn't stand up to that conditions they put that through.
Oh, you're so right. But we just.
Larry grew up in Michigan. I asked him how y'all got down here. As a matter of fact, he said he didn't have any kinfolk, but your mama was here.
Yes. I was born in the old county hospital 2 blocks away.
Community hospital.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when I was 8 years old, my parents moved to Michigan.
That's right. He was telling me the story.
Yes.
Which is a neat story that y'all both kind of from Coleman. Is that right?
He's from Coleman.
He's from Coleman. Okay, and then you met in Michigan as a 5th and 6th grade. That was the most fascinating. I said, what a small, small world to move from Walker County and Coleman County, and you meet as sweethearts, 5th and 6th grade, and wind up getting married for how many years now?
52.
That's a success story, Larry. You did well. You were smart back there in the 5th and 6th grade. I guarantee you that.
I'm just talking to Jack Baldwin, and he has a tractor here. Jack, I love that picture and that toy.
Yeah, It's from 1950, the early 1950s. Well, we lived out on the farm outside Winchester, Indiana, where I grew up, and that's me. All my kids and grandkids have enjoyed this tractor, and we had it restored a few years ago. My dad did before he passed away, and it's back to its original color and shape, and all the rubber's new on it, so it's all just right back to as it was.
Oh, it looks great. Oh, that is such a cute picture, Jack. I love that.
My mama took that one.
I bet she did. That is wonderful.
Got my straw hat on and everything. Just look like the farmer, don't I?
Oh, you're just as cute as you can be.
About 2 years old at that time.
We have Mimi Hudson here on staff at the Bankhead House and Heritage Center. Mimi Hudson, that is the most adorable picture of you on that tractor.
Well, thank you so much. It was one of my favorite toys.
Oh, so cute, Mimi.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Now, that cute little girl is Barbara Ann Cook, and that would be you, Barbara Ann.
Yes, ma'am. That was the purple car was a birthday present back when I was 2.
It is. It is adorable, and you are still adorable.
Well, thank
We're
you.
in the dining room, and Linda and Ray Lewis have done this beautiful doll house. When did you tell us about this, Linda? You were telling me.
I guess we started on this about 10 years ago, Ray, and it took us probably about 2 years to make. And it was something that when we came home in the afternoon from work, we'd go down in the basement and it'd give us something to work together, you know, and to try to make. And so, I don't know, we're still together after all doing this all together. But
she said that when she was a child, she always wanted a dollhouse like this. So we looked around, and finally found something that we thought we could do, and we put it together.
Isn't this man sweet?
great. I mean, and you can see how Ray did all the shingles up here, and the hardwood floors are actually hardwood floors. Everything had to be sanded before it was painted, and you can look into it, and everything's to scale. He had to buy special tools that were to scale in order to do things like the crown molding and the chair rails, and so it's got a wonderful story behind it too.
Oh, that's neat. I admired this yesterday, and then but I didn't read it.
Everything that we started doing, we started making it our own, and we would go and we would say, well, you know, I think wallpaper needs to be in this room, or I think the rugs need to be, or the crown molding and the hardwood floors. So each one of these were hand carved and cut, yeah. So, you know,
you just made it better.
It was, yes. I guess you could say we made it a little part of us,
well,
ownership to it.
The basic frame, the substructure and the structure of it were actually a kit. All of the molding, we decided to use the windows, the shingles. Each one of the siding on the house is all separate. They're all one piece. So it's like building a real home.
What was the hardest part to do, Ray?
I think the hardest part to do would be getting the chair rail level, square with the walls. Also, the hardwood, it took a lot of time because it's just like laying real hardwood in a home. Getting Linda to make up her mind on what color wallpaper, what type of wallpaper, carpet.
Just like a real home.
It was appeal. And also the shingles on the roof, cutting those to length. And you know, here again, it's glued, so you couldn't make up a lot of time. You had to set a certain amount and then glue it. But I think those are probably the hardest things.
Well, it turned out to be just a beautiful piece, and how nice, the perfect place to display it, isn't it?
Well, we're proud of it, and we just want the entire community to come out and look at all these timeless toys. This is just one display of many, many wonderful and exciting toys that are out here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, too.
Oh, yeah, supervising is the right word.
No, she actually, the wood expands, but it won't close. So if you have to stand until you. That's the only way I whistle. That was great.
This is a bicycle built for two, and it was from the 1970s. And June and Bill Hudson bought this for their two daughters. And Vicki, do you know Minnie's sister's name is Missy? Talking to Dickie Freeman about the Santa that he has done here. And tell us about that, Dickie.
Well, this Santa Claus was a project in wood shop at Central Junior High School in 1955 when Bob Songer was the woodshop teacher who y'all know eventually became superintendent of education here in the city. And Bob had the stencil, and we had to cut it out with we drew it on fiberboard, and then we had to cut it out with a hand jigsaw all the way around, and then we had to sand the edges down and then paint the part that's painted to really make it look like Santa. And my memory of it is that every young man in the class made one of these. And I don't know how many of them are left, but it stays in a bathroom, believe it or not, in our house. When we redecorated the house, the decorator we were working with found this Santa Claus, I think it was under a bed or something, and said, "Oh, you've got to use this in your house." So we said, "Well, you know, we like Christmas. Yeah, we understand that." No, you got to use it all the time. So he stands in our, what we call the hall bathroom in our house. If you go in there, he greets you every day, and he stays there. What, 1955 was what, 57 years ago? Something like that. And that's when he was made, and that's the story of this Santa Claus.
I think that's neat, and I think that decorator has a good idea. We need little touches of whimsy about the house.
Especially if children come in. And our grandchildren, well, I mean, they're kind of old now, but when they were little, the first thing they wanted to do when they got to our house was go see Santa Claus. And so they'd run in the bathroom, and there was Santa Claus to greet them. So I guess I hope he'll be there for 57 more years in somebody's house. No.
Oh, I do too. But that is just a neat traditional thing that you do.
Well, thank you.
How long did it take you to make him?
Well, we only had about a 35 or 40-minute shop class every day, so we didn't have a lot of a long period of continuous time to work on it. So we'd work on it, it was probably a semester project for us back then. I was in the 7th grade then. I believe it was 7th grade when we made these Santa Clauses.
Oh, my. Tell us about this.
Okay, this little clock and the little train actually runs around the tracks, and this was to mark the 50th anniversary of Lionel Trains. It's a commemorative piece, and again, my grandchildren thought it was a toy all the time, but it's really a collector piece and a commemorative piece that Lionel Trains did for their 50th anniversary, and it stays on the dresser in our bedroom most of the time when it's not being played with by some child.
Well, it's really an heirloom then.
Well, I think so. We like it, and we like electric trains anyway. Betty gave me an electric train for Christmas last year, so.
Well, I knew I loved Betty, and even more now.
Well, she asked me what I want, and I said, well, I want an electric train. Well, she gave it to me, so.
quite a collection, but I'm sure this is, oh my, look at the newspaper article. This is just a small number of things out of his collection. Martha Pennington did this article in 1986 about Ed Thompson, and this is Carol Savage's father.
Okay, right here is a collection of what they call shotgun row houses, and that was houses that were actually built right along the railroad track, and they were in just a straight line. They said you could shoot a shotgun through the window on one of them, it'd go all the way through the end of the last house. And the thing that makes this a really unique collection is it belonged to the Lieutenant Governor W.C. Davis, the Lieutenant Governor of Alabama, who lived here in Jasper, was a lawyer here in Jasper. Very few people even know it's the K. Smith House here in Jasper is where he lived. And when they were going through the attic after they bought the house, they found this collection of little houses that actually belonged to the Lieutenant Governor of Alabama. So this is a really nice collection of model houses.
Of a mighty rushing wind. Oh, and it's closer now than it's ever been. I can almost hear the trumpet as Gabriel sounds the call. you come unto me, wash away your sin forever, then you shall rest eternally. Oh, I can hear the joy bells ring, the joy bells ringing, where my friends and loved ones wait. Oh, I can hear the angels singing just inside the pearly gate. I'm trying to get more stuff. Now I'm saved with my Jesus, and He will guide me on my way. I will sing His praise forever. We'll meet in heaven some sweet day. Oh, I can hear the joy bells ring, the joy bells ringing, where my friends and loved ones away. Oh, I can hear the angels singing just inside a pearly gate. That was a nice Father and mothers, sisters and brothers, we will sing. Come on, brother. Come on. They'll be coming for they've won the victory. And now, at last, sweet peace. Now, at last, sweet peace we have found. Now at last, sweet peace we have found. Amen. For we have risen from
Well, I don't know what to sing now.
Well, I know you. All right, we got a request for Go Rest Time.
We'll get to it.
Trent, you sound like you want to say something.
I don't know what to say. That's right. That's about all you can say sometimes. To God be the glory.